let's start off with the presidential shit show. You know, I think anybody who watched that debate last night
Speaking of,
would.
Hi, baby.
DJ, what's happening?
I don't know why he's up here.
I don't know why you're up here either, DJ, but we heard what you said. So this first topic is dedicated to you.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
After
continue.
the debate last night, a CNN, analyst was there, going around and asking about the debate. And on CNN, she said, it was a shit show. Like literally use those words, right? And I don't. Anybody who watched that would have to agree. It was, and one thing I think is important to point out, because when people say it was a mess, it was a shit show, then people can have the impression that it was both people going crazy and talking crazy, which was not the case. You had the madman Trump, just as rude, as arrogant, as demeaning, just the complete asshole. If you think of the worst possible asshole you can think of, that's how he was for an hour and a half. And I was watching it just chilling at first, and then I was like, I need to grab a drink or something, because this is stressing me out. And so wifey would just look at me and just look at my face, how I was, and she just went and brought me the bottle. Because it was a mess. So I have a whole bunch of comments about it, but I'll kick it around. Did you guys see the debates? And what are your thoughts? DJ, what do you say, DJ? What were your thoughts?
So Dana basically summed up my 2020. A shit show is exactly what 2020 is, and this debate basically brought no less to the show. I know we're going to get into a lot as far as this is concerned, but I'm gonna circle back around and talk about my boy Biden in this case, because you are exactly right. When you say shit show, you automatically think that it was on both sides, but it wasn't. And you got to think about the key points that Biden made during this whole debacle. And I like to focus on the times where he actually looked in the cameras and was speaking to the American people. Mm-hmm. In those times, you can tell that somebody was actually sincere, and they were trying to bring an agenda to the table and let the American people know what they want to do for the country. Now, you go on the other side, and I'm not going to name any names. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And it was basically just a bully game. He did exactly what he came to do, to get under Biden's skin. And there were times where he definitely succeeded. And I just wanted to see Biden basically ignore that BS and get his message across. So, we have future debates coming up. The first debate is the debate that most people usually watch, okay? It is the most viewed debate. Now, I don't know if this is going to turn people off or what, but after that debate last night, I just want to see the vice president's debate. I don't want to see that mess again. I'm still stressed. I'm still drinking. My bar don't want to see me no more. You understand me? It's like, come on, dude. Like, checking the AA or something. Because as a citizen, as an American, all I thought to myself is, what are other countries looking at us and saying?
Exactly.
What are they actually looking at and saying? They're like, these are some effing idiots up here. But anyway.
Yeah. Jojo Dancer, what do you think? Let's hear your thoughts.
So,
all your thoughts.
As a non-voter who gets a lot of slack for choosing not to vote.
Formerly non-voter.
But I'll get to that.
Okay.
Formerly non-voter.
Yeah, Hercules.
So last night I said, okay, you know what? let me try to fully understand what or who I'm voting for. Let me see if
you picked the wrong debate.
Yeah,
what it is, okay?
If you pick this debate to pick a side,
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
No, my computer just froze. I don't know what happened. But my thing is, I'm surprised that so many people are surprised at Trump, because he is who he is with no apology. He's a jerk. He's a jackass, and I didn't expect anything less from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt bad for Joe Biden because I was sincerely trying to hear and focus on him, and Trump was just a big old distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things that touched me, hurt my feelings, like when he was talking about Joe Biden's son, and you know, into this, and then of course the comment heard around the world, you know, about the hate groups and the white supremacy groups and things like that. Stand down or whatever he said. I was like, you know what? I
stand back and stand by.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what he said. And then that right there, I was like, I was like legit scared. I'm like, you know what? I have to go out and vote, because like this dude can't stay in here. I still feel like it's choosing the lesser of two evils, but I'm like, yo, this dude gotta go. This dude gotta go. And whether it happens now or not, whether my vote makes the difference, this dude gotta go. We gotta do something. So that last night woke me up. It was a shit show, but last night really woke me up. And
big round of applause. Big round of applause. This is like coming to the altar, you know.
and
you know, the pastor celebrating somebody come to the altar. This is what just happened. Welcome, my child.
If you're listening, they said shit show first. I'm just saying what they said. So.
Right.
Especially, what you say about the show?
Well, suppose me tell you, say, in me, if you actually surprised me, but not with the way you think it surprised. I was thinking that this guy, you know, been president for 4 years now, you know, would come on and at least show the world, at least a US, that he could be presidential.
You expected that?
Yes, that is what I was expecting him to at least attempt to do.
Oh.
But after 5 minutes into it, you see that, hey, this guy's not going to change. He's always going to be a bully. He's always going to be a racist. And he really doesn't care about rules. He thinks rules don't apply to him.
Yeah.
So, you know, that is what was surprising about me, because I was expecting him to be better after being, you know, in the office for 4 years.
So that had to be you and Chris Wallace, because that's why I feel sorry. no, serious.
Yeah.
Because
Chris did a hazard pay.
Chris came into that thinking, okay, I know he's a consummate professional, so I know he did his research. Yeah, like I'm prepared for anything, and came into this and was like, okay, I'm in kindergarten. What? I'm not prepared for kindergarten.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, Chris, salute. I do hear that. I did read today that the rules are going to change for the next debate. So how they will change, I don't know if y'all. Well, they haven't stated how.
That won't matter.
Yeah, so
it won't matter.
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how they will change. One thing I heard this morning was that the rules for all three debates were already agreed to by both sides. So if you change, you have to get both sides to agree again.
Of course.
One thing I think should definitely happen, that the format will, one person talk for 2 minutes. During that 2 minutes, turn off the other person's mic. You know, it's not a problem with Biden, but there's no reason why we need to hear somebody yelling over somebody.
They're not going to agree to that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so, but you know, because if we allow the same thing to happen, because as Dwayne said, right, that is the strategy, because the facts and the truth are not in Trump's favor. 200+ plus thousand people dead. It's 200,000 people dead. 7 million cases. All these things aren't in his favor. So when you start talking about that, have an audience of millions to really outline how he screwed this up, he doesn't want you to get that out. So it's a good start. You know? So that is strategy. And so as you said, that it didn't surprise me. You know, actually, it was worse than I thought. I knew he was going to be an ass because that's who he is, but it was worse than I thought. And I'm sure I think Georgia said this or what have you about what are other countries thinking. So you know, it's like I think back to when we're living in Jamaica, how we looked to the U.S. We look to the U.S. as the example for the world.
Democracy.
Yeah, you know, so as far, obviously, we didn't know about all the problems up here, but the image that was portrayed throughout the world is we have things together. This is the democracy you strive to be. And so imagine, and when things aren't going right in other countries, the U.S. is the first one to go there and, elections are running right and what have you. But to see that on the display for the whole world was embarrassing. It was ridiculous. So, so I watched the Jamaica recently had election. JLP and PNP, bitter rivals, right? Back in the 80s, I mean, it was bitter rivals to the point of death, murder on election day, that sort of thing. However, when I watched that debate between Andrew Holness and Peter Phillips, a few weeks ago, it was civil, it was well reasoned, it was calm, it was it was factual, and I was like, I know they disagree vehemently on the issues, but you could see these are two people who respect each other and respect the process.
But they still throw their shade, but in a classy way.
That's part of politics.
Way.
Cool. But that's part of it. But the yelling and screaming, that was madness. Yeah. So but one thing I think the most important thing that many people didn't learn anything. But one thing that we have to be mindful of is, you mentioned, when it asked to call out the white supremacists, Trump said, stand back and stand by. And so that wasn't stand by. Yeah, that wasn't just something he said in a debate, right? His son has videos all over Facebook that are being promoted, calling upon a Trump army, to basically go and intimidate people at the polls. They want these idiot people walking around with guns, show up the polls to intimidate people to try and prevent them from voting. Because this fool knows that if the election is fair and if people go out and vote, he is definitely going to lose and is definitely going to go to prison within a matter of months. So that's why, so he's basically, it was a call to arms for his supporters. So how dangerous that is. So that's something that we have to be mindful of, right? The strategy is not to try and convince anybody to vote for him. The strategy is 100% to cause chaos and make people think he's being screwed. Confusion, go grab up your AR-15s and madness. That's what he wants. So
let me give a perspective that y'all probably haven't thought of, because what you're talking about, I know. Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think Trump is a racist?
Oh, no, without a doubt.
Of course.
I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Shit.
I don't think so at all. I'm gonna tell you why. I coined a phrase.
Please explain that.
I was doing some research today, and I coined a phrase for Trump. He is a narcissistic classist. Okay, and let me explain.
Makes sense.
It's not a matter of the color of your skin or what may have you. It's about your status or society, and everything that he does is all about him. Everything. It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, how much money you have. The narcissism in him makes him think that, okay, he's above everybody. And then the next thing he thinks of is money. Okay, your financial status and where you are. Then everything falls, below the wayside. Then you're really nothing after that. So let's talk about the numbers. 60% of the U.S. is Caucasian, white. Okay. The percentage of black people in America is about, they say 13 to 14%. Okay. Let's say
that's
10%.
That's all I see.
No, right? That's because we live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
If y'all watch the debate, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So think about this. If 10% of that 60% are, let's say, white supremacists, guess what that'll do? That'll cancel out our vote. So he's all for numbers. It's a numbers game to him. Like everything else, it's a numbers game. The more support he can get, that's what he's for. I don't think it's a black or white thing, or one race is better than him. It's a numbers game.
Right.
If he can benefit from it, I think he's for it.
I think
makes a lot of sense.
I don't think it's an either or. I think he is a narcissist. I think the other is the classist, and I think he is a racist. Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck, and so it's not just from what I've seen from him, right? Over the years, it's what others who know him on a personal basis, like his niece, somebody who's known him, her entire life.
The one that
right. Yeah. And talk about the things that she's heard him say and what have you. It's again, it's not an either or. Yes, it is a numbers game, and he doesn't want to lose any support, right? So that's his thing. When I asked him about David Duke back in 2015. It was like, like David Duke endorsed him. It was like, I don't know anything about David Duke, and that's what, because he doesn't want to alienate anybody. The people that are in his corner, he wants them to always be in his corner. But with that said, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence about his racism. You don't run your campaign on Mexicans or rapists. That's how he came out the gate. Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers, and some, I assume, are good people. That's like day one when you know.
Again. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
If you are not a racist, you don't say these things.
But if you're trying to get as many votes as you can, and 60% of the American population is white,
it's both.
You're gonna say it.
It's both. It is a numbers game, and and his record shows. Look. As the prior to this, probably most people think in recent history, the worst president has been Richard Nixon before my time. And the Nixon administration sued him and his father for not allowing black people to rent their properties. It's an overwhelming amount of evidence about his racism. But that's part of the deal. That's who he is. Jojo, welcome to the voters. So I did. Let me just say one thing about that. So I did a voter registration event today with Omega Sci-Fi.
You didn't even take me with you.
It was at what's it called, Florida College Center, something like that. Someplace on 1960, way on the north side. So if I'm way up there, it's as important. So there are dozens of students, like 19, 20-year-olds and what have you, who came through, and everybody walking by asked, "Are you registered? Are you registered?" And I would say probably about for most of them were not registered, and most of them said, "Yeah, I'll take a couple minutes and register," which was good. But occasionally we would hear, "Oh, I don't do politics," right? And I expected that response. It's like, I'm like, well, you know what? If you live here, you do politics, because every day decisions are made that affect your life. Yeah, you may have the president or what have you, but there are judges that to vote for. There are, local, city council people, representatives for your area that, create laws that, have an effect on your life, whether you know it or not. So just take a look at a couple of minutes and participate, right? And most people are receptive to that. Some weren't, and I think that's something that we just have to realize eventually. Like when these issues come up with another, so yeah, maybe you don't care about climate change and that sort of things that seem like they don't affect you, even though they do. But like every time there's another murder of a black unarmed black innocent person by the police, and people want to march and get all upset and crazy and what have you, and then the cops aren't prosecuted, we have to realize that our vote impacts that, because we vote for the mayor nominates the police chief runs the department, and all of that, the district attorneys who decide not to prosecute. So bringing it home to a level that people understand, it's very important. So Jojo, we've had arguments about this. I'm glad you welcome to the church.
Well, I will say,
the doors of the church.
To piggyback off of what you just said, I will say that people like our Mayor Turner, the police chief, Sheila Jackson Lee, I love them to death. I want them to stay in their positions. They make me want to vote for them. So it makes it look like not everyone's bad, not everyone's evil, not everyone's throwing people under the bus.
So the reason why I'm laughing.
Sheila Yachty, don't?
Yes.
Yeah. And I must. The reason why I'm laughing, that one more thing about this voter registration event. So so we all had on our masks, right? And so I asked this one lady, probably like middle-aged, 56-year-old black lady, if she's registered, and she said no. And then she kept walking, and she turned around, and she was like, "Mayor Turner, is that you?" I'm like, Mayor Turner. So apparently when I have my mask on,
you do. Your eyes.
So listen, Turner. Hey, I should have rolled with it, but
And he's shorter and darker.
Oh my God.
So from now on, I'm going to change all my social media handles to Mayor Turner.
That is no, you better not.
Anyway, I am not Mayor Turner. I am merely Chris Walton. Anyway,
so Chris, in final about the debate, is it democracy or democracy? Which one is it?
Last night was demo shit show. Demo crazy. I hadn't heard that before. I like that. Yeah, but yeah, it was madness. Hey, there are two more debates. I hope.
2-year-old son, shit show.
Yeah. Shout out to DJ. The segment was dedicated to you.